What's up everyone, Cubed Vibes here and welcome back to the fourth episode of my survival project and the second episode of working on my giant lake project. So in today's episode we're gonna finish digging the entire lake as well as put in a custom floor in here. But before we're gonna start digging, I'm gonna make myself a bunch more netherite pickaxes since I have a lot of netherite left over. However, what I do not have is a netherite upgrade template since you did not need that back in the day. So I'm just double checking all of my shulker boxes just to make sure I do not have one that I accidentally found somewhere, but it does not look like it. So it is time to go raid some bastions real quick. Now I was very lucky and actually managed to find one in the first bastion that I raided. Right there, and we also have another smithing template, so that's pretty cool. But anyways, let's head over to the villagers and go trade some books so we can actually enchant all these pickaxes. Alright, so I'm just gonna grab a bunch of emeralds for my stash right here. Then we're gonna grab a few books. Now I'm gonna buy all of the books that we need to make max enchanted silk touch pickaxes. So we need a mending book, an efficiency 5 book, a silk touch book, and an unbreaking 3 book. Alright, but it seems as though my unbreaking villager somehow disappeared, so we're gonna have to go make a new one real quick. So let's just snatch one up here at the villagers, then pass them by the zombification. I'm not gonna zombify them right now. And then break and place a ton of lecterns until we get that efficiency trade. So now we're gonna have to combine all of these books together, and I think in total that's gonna take about 150 levels, so that hurts quite a bit. But the diamonds are no problem. We have a ton of diamonds from excavating this entire perimeter right here. And we even have a ton of ores as well. So let's craft up a bunch of pickaxes and apply all of the books to them real quick. Also, I just realized that I left the upgrade template over at the villager, so let's just hop over there and go grab that real quick. And then we need some diamonds and a bit of netherrack. And I don't have any netherrack, so let's just go check the hopper real quick. And never have I been so excited to find 17 netherrack, so let's just go and craft the templates real quick. And now I just made 18 templates, so we should still have some for the future. Let's put the diamonds back into the system. And let's just head up to a smithing table and convert all of these pickaxes real quick. And another quick thing that I want to make just for convenience sake is a tunnel right in there so we can get to the storage a little bit faster. So before we start mining, let's just try to find the middle. That looks about right. And then we're gonna make a 7 block wide tunnel and just mine that all the way through like this. And I'm just gonna make a quick beacon so we have the effect all the way through. And then let's get right back to mining out this tunnel right here. Now, it's not meant to look good, it should just be practical so I can get to my storage a little bit faster and maybe save some time. But let's just put up some lanterns as well so I'm not gonna get absolutely swarmed by mobs in here. But now that we have a bunch of new pickaxes as well as a little tunnel, let's go straight back to digging. So I'm gonna make a little guideline back here just so I know until where I'm gonna have to dig approximately. And then I'm also gonna try to come up with a slope so that this is not just gonna be rectangular but sort of getting shallower and shallower towards the beaches. So let's hit a very big time lapse and finish digging this entire lake. right here we have a giant hole. I don't even want to talk about how long this took. However, we are still not done. We need to transform this river right here, as well as a lake on the other side. But before we do that, let's build a quick basalt farm. So let's just hit a quick montage of getting all of the blocks. So we need some obsidian, some smooth stone slabs, and some smooth stone blocks, some soul soil, redstone, pistons, and some sticky pistons, slime blocks, TNT, redstone repeaters, hoppers, observers, droppers, dispensers, stone brick walls, barrels, furnaces, rails and minecarts, chests, some stone, some levers, some fence gates and some buttons, corals, ice, and some buckets of lava. So we now have 2 whole shulker blocks of lava buckets, as well as all of the other redstone stuff that we're going to need. So let's just build this farm right here, pretty close to all the other stuff. Now, I actually tried some redstone and designed this farm myself in a creative test world, which is why it is not as material efficient as it could be, but it does still output some pretty good rates. I also went ahead and built a TNT duper above this farm so that the TNT always explodes right in the middle of all of the basalt right there. So if for whatever reason you want to build this farm for yourself, I put the schematic on my Discord server. Feel free to join there. I unfortunately cannot put a link on YouTube, so either go check out my TikTok profile, the name is the same, or just add Cubed Vibes on Discord. But while this farm is doing its thing and just sort of running in the background, let's go ahead and dig out the rest of this river right here. So now while I was digging this river, we got a lot of basalt, and I also went ahead and already smelted up quite a few shulker boxes into smooth basalt, because we're gonna need that together with some cobbled deep slate for the floor of this lake. So I just laid out a bunch of shulker boxes of some cobbled deep slate, basalt, and some smooth basalt. So let's just cover up this entire floor right here. So the floor is now completely covered. Let's just fly up and have a quick look at what we did down here. Now all that's left to do before we can fill up this massive lake right here is to texture the walls of this dock, but unfortunately that is going to have to wait for the next episode. If you enjoy this series so far, in the top right corner there is a link to all of my videos in the same place. Appreciate you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.